All right, welcome to Sport Tour on Enterprise TV, where we give you all the latest from what is happening in the world of sports. If you are joining us for the first time, endeavor to follow us across all social media platforms at Enterprise TV 7. My name is John Olasikomi, reporting for Sporting Duty. This a wonderful afternoon, and of course, joining me in the studio this great afternoon, making a return, Bumi Nathan Ayoman. Ayoman, great to have you.
Thank you. Always wonderful to be around people who love sports the way I do.
Just prove to the world that you're a Nigerian.
100%. True and true.
All right, you know how we do it on our Enterprise TV when we talk about sports. And of course, we always start with local football because charity begins at home. This afternoon, we'll be starting with Super Eagles striker Victor James Osimhen. Arguably the best striker in the world, has helped Galatasaray clinch the Turkish Super League title following a dominant 3-0 victory over Kayserispor on Sunday. Osimhen, who has netted an impressive 36 goals across all competitions this season, is now set to return to his parents' club, talking about Napoli, where he was mocked at some point after he handed the Scudetto to the old Napoli after 3 decades, 33 years. And of course, it is done and dusted in Turkey. I saw the banner over the weekend. Galatasaray fans didn't want him to go. Osimhen feel loved in Turkey. And of course, before we talk deep about Victor James Osimhen, Ayaman, is there any striker that is better than Osimhen?
I love the fact that you started with the word arguably. He's by far one of the most impressive strikers. If you are mentioning the top 10 strikers in the world as of today, he will be in that conversation without any doubt. But we have the likes of Mbappe, who just changed club like he did as well. That did very close to the numbers that he did. So are you going to say that you're going to underplay what he has done as well? We have the likes of
Mbappe, who has more La Liga goals than Osimhen in Turkey.
So that's what I'm saying. People like Victor Gyökeres, the Ukrainian, who is the Swedish guy.
Gyökeres did 39 goals in Portugal.
The Swedish guy who is arguably the best striker over the last 3 seasons. He's one of the best. He's been in that conversation for the last 3 seasons.
Are we saying Gyökeres is better than Osimhen?
I would not underplay any one of them.
Okay.
I love Turkey fans. I see how passionate they are. I want to go home safe and sound. So, with that being said, I would not edge Osimhen over Gyökeres or edge Gyökeres over Osimhen. I think they are on par. It just depends on the fact that Gyökeres has been playing with the same set of squad members for the last 2-3 seasons. You have to put that into perspective as well.
You know why I disagree with you.
No, this is where
the reason is,
yes, I would say
Osimhen has proved himself
in 2 different leagues.
In 3 different leagues. French League.
Yes.
Italy. Yes. And now in Turkey.
Yes. I was going to say, yes, I can agree that he is a extraordinary striker. Is he better than Gyökeres? I would not say yes.
Why?
The reason is because Osimhen has always been with extraordinary group of players.
Even in Turkey?
Yes.
Where are those players in Turkey? When he was signed to Turkey on loan from Napoli, Icardi didn't really play 3 months with him before he got injured.
I'm not talking about his striking partners.
Okay, who are they again? Dries Mertens is old.
Are you?
That's what I'm saying.
They've been playing together in Napoli before he came here.
So when he was at Napoli, he showed the world what he's capable of doing.
Yes.
And because of Osimhen, we saw Kvaratskhelia.
Yes.
And before then, nobody was talking about Kvaratskhelia until Osimhen joined Napoli.
Okay.
I'm not saying, no disrespect to Kvaratskhelia, he's a great footballer.
Yes.
But without Osimhen,
yes, I get what you're. I don't disagree with that. Yes. I agree with that. Yeah. Well, that is questionable. That is questionable. I will not. That part I may not agree with because Kvaratskhelia is a extraordinary player on his own.
Of course, I agree with you 100% because you
can see what he's doing in French league
right now.
Do you understand? And he just got there in January, and he's ripping up the whole league.
But Osimhen advertised him to the world. That's my point.
I agree with that.
Because most of his assists, Osimhen was always.
But you saying we would not have known who he was without Osimhen I don't agree because of the fact that they had found him before
Osimhen.
Before they found Osimhen,
okay,
right? He came in after Osimhen came in into the team. That's it. That's completely different. But if he wasn't doing what he was doing in that league where he was, they wouldn't have.
Yes, of course.
They wouldn't have highlighted his skill set and brought him to the team. And we've over the last decade, we've seen players like Memphis Depay who came to Manchester United with his skill set. No, we could mention players who are so skilled. Dembele that is ripping the French league into shreds now. In Germany, he was fantastic. When he came to Barcelona, he was not up to
standard. Didn't allow him to play.
That's the concern of his club. They didn't manage him well. So now that are you saying that the injury left him in Spain and he came to
and he got
to Ligue 1 and the injury decided, okay, I'm going to leave him in. No, it is the player management. The team saw that, okay, if we manage this guy properly, we will get the best out of him. And the coach gave him the full-on confidence that he decided to become the kind of player.
But I want to wait. I know you are a fan of Erling Haaland. How come Erling Haaland is not in conversation?
He has been injured for more than half of the season. His ability to perform was not. Manchester City as a whole didn't do well this season. They had so many injuries back to back. Kevin De Bruyne went on injury 3 times this season. The Rodri, nowhere to be found. He's just coming back, right? So when you put all that in perspective, you see that team itself.
So when we talk about top 5 strikers right now, we definitely pick Osimhen,
Gyökeres, Mbappe, Isak is in that conversation.
And Lewandowski.
I can put my boy Harry Kane.
All right.
My boy Harry Kane.
All right, so
and then Lewandowski can follow us.
Now that Osimhen is back at Napoli.
But I don't like the way I can put Osimhen and Gyökeres as number 1.
Don't even talk about Come on, for me, Osimhen is ahead of every one of them right now as we speak. Because of what he's doing presently. Osimhen is going goes for fun. One thing goes for fun.
One thing I will give to him.
The ability of Osimhen on the pitch to Gyökeres. I've seen these guys do great things.
Of course.
But seeing Osimhen, I just keep on remembering the likes of De Lima Ronaldo, late Rashidi Yekini, Inzaghi, and all. Mention them. These are great strikers.
What I would say definitely is the situation surrounding Osimhen's exit of the team in Napoli and him taking that as energy and fuel to be able to succeed in Turkey. I round of applause for him. That shows the kind of mental strength he has as a player. He had a few injuries as well, but the club managed him perfectly because, I'm pretty sure we're going to talk about some other players too who their clubs didn't do well in managing.
All right. So I am on. Before we leave this conversation, where do you see Osimhen playing next season?
If I were Osimhen, I would suggest he avoids these 3 clubs. He avoids Chelsea. He avoids Manchester United, and he avoids going back to anywhere in Serie A for now.
Maybe he should stay back at Turkey, Galatasaray.
I would not underplay that. I think the fans love him. One more season in Turkey is not going to do him harm. He's going to be playing Champions League.
And since they are ready to
he's playing Champions League football anyways.
He's running.
So I think he should stay in that club. Get his because where I would say he edges him out is I know he can do better if he has a good competitor.
And if he's staying back, the fans won't turn their back at Osimhen the way.
No, they won't turn their back. With what he has delivered for them in the absence of Mario Icardi. They will not take him for granted. Turkey fans are not. They have not historically been proven to show what the Italian fans. Italian and Spanish fans can change their backs on you at any time.
All right, away from Victor James Osimhen, we'll be talking about another Super Eagles striker, talking about Taiwo Awoniyi. Super Eagles and Nottingham Forest striker Taiwo Awoniyi has expressed his desire to return to action following a harrowing health scare that saw him placed in an induced coma after emergency surgery. I saw when Gibbs White scored that goal, they all dedicated the goal to our own Taiwo Awoniyi, and they showed us his jersey. It was a massive love, from the old fans and of course the footballers. So how do you want to say, how how do you want to describe what really happened to, Taiwo?
Again, one thing I can say, first of all, kudos to the investors in Nottingham Forest, especially the majority owner who came on pitch because he was so passionate about the fact that how would you people manage a player that can give you such an output? Because on par with Chris Wood, we know on paper that Awoni is a better striker than Chris Wood.
Anytime.
So for them not to have managed him properly in that situation, it tells you that even the owner, that part for me is special. Now back to the point of what they can do. They have to make sure that they get that man back on his feet and manage him properly. Because if you rush him, it seems like they are always trying to rush him back to fitness. Because I noticed that he's like Gabriel Jesus when he came to that club. Yes, every few games, he's always struggling with an injury. He's always struggling. And that wasn't Taiwo Awoniyi before he came to Nottingham Forest. So we have to make sure, they have to make sure that they manage him back. Because I was listening to an interview where Sir Alex Ferguson, when Van Persie came to Manchester United, they reduced his training time. You know that, because there are some things you have to do for some players
to protect your players.
So I hope that Nuno Esperanto Santo will definitely take some action in trying to protect
and
our very
once again, wish you a speedy recovery
from us. Yes.
All right, we're from Taiwo Awoniyi. Let's move straight to the age grade of football, talking about the Flying Eagles. Nigeria secured the Hartford bronze medal at the 2025 Under-20 African Cup of Nations, overcoming the host nation, Egypt, 4-1 on penalties following a 1-1 draw in regulation time at the 30th June Stadium in Cairo on Sunday. All right, Ayaman, I know I do talk about this Under-20. For me, they are just one of the worst teams so far since I've been seeing the Under-20 games, because for me, I believe the best Under-20 team was under the tutelage of Samson Siasa in 2005.
Yes,
and ever since then, I know we've been struggling. But this Under-20 that just claims the bronze medal have been the worst for me so far.
Well, like me and you, we always have conversations about this, about the fact that we really need improvement in our Nigerian football, and it's beginning to show very deeply. Grassroots football is the thing that will create the next generation of players, because a lot of the talents that we see, like the Awonis and all this,
transition, want to transition, want to integrate these young players. I don't know how we're going to do it with this set of players.
I am not completely excited about it, but we must give them kudos. Even with all the hardship, they still came out with a bronze medal.
Yes,
we must not underplay the efforts of those boys because of the fact that they have underperformed. Yes, but they still turned up at the very last moment, even though...
and the good news is they qualify for the World Cup.
There we go. So I'm happy for them. But at the same time, we know that there is a lot of improvement that needs to happen in our grassroots football. We need better coaches, better systems to be able to put in place so that these boys, the selection of these boys will be better, and the environment that you can give them to be able to train, to improve, will also be better.
All right, let's see how it goes. But for me, maybe 2 to 3 players can say that they can make it to the Under-23, and of course the Super Eagles, Parobo, the captain Bameyi, and maybe Odinaka, the first choice keeper. All right, away from local football, let's move straight to foreign football. And you know where we're starting from? English Premier League. The Premier League, Arsenal broke their place in the Champions League as Declan Rice Thunderbolts sealed a 1-0 win against top 5 rivals. Talking about Newcastle United on Sunday. It was indeed an intense game. I did think I was expecting a lot of goals in that match. But Newcastle really played well, but Arsenal got the better of them. Just one goal, courtesy of that goal from Declan Rice. He has been in scintillating form this season.
£100 million well spent. In fact, I heard David Moyes saying they should have taken more money for him, which I totally agree with, because his performance this season has proven that we didn't really understand how much of a gem he was in West Ham, right? That's exactly what I was saying about Kvaratskhelia. We wouldn't have known him if he wasn't a treasure. Right now that he's on a bigger stage, we are seeing the quality, we are seeing his work rate, we are seeing, and it's undisputed. But for Arsenal, I hope that they can make better decisions. The excuse given by the coach is
you can imagine Arteta saying that Arsenal had a bad season because of injuries and red cards. Then I was like, come on, what's going on with Arteta? How can you put this out there?
So I would give him a little bit of leeway, in the sense that I know that he has to do so much press. So sometimes you run out of things to say. Right? I saw Amorim's contract of how much press he has to do. Even if you want to
justify your rights, you don't come out to say because of injuries is part of football.
Yes.
That's why we have a lot of players.
But
red cards is part of football.
I understand the fact that he...
you like needed a striker, Iron Man. You went for a defender. You needed a striker, you went for a defensive midfielder. And you kept on relying on...
No, you haven't gone to the wrong thing. You needed a striker.
As a first man.
You needed a striker, and you let go of the one striker that you had.
You have. You can't tell us going to come on. We'll still talk about it.
So, no, sadly it's sad that this is how their season ended. I'm very happy that they ended Champions League on a high note.
Yes, of course.
Because I don't think they could have done any better, right? But for the Premier League, the battle was already lost from a couple weeks ago. It was just evident to the whole world that this is where they will be at in the last few weeks. But from around March, I had already seen that there was nothing Arsenal could really do, except if they have a miracle striker that they're going to bring from somewhere, maybe from a grave or somewhere. I didn't expect anything, because if you go put anybody else in that position, somebody would have really, because what they needed was goals.
Yes, of course.
They needed goals. And it's painful that it's people like Declan Rice that are scoring in matches against a team like Real Madrid. So the lapses are showing. It's becoming evident that they need a number 9, a solid. If you can't get a number 9, get a very good forward. There are options in the market now. Thomas Muller is on free transfer. Jamie Vardy is there for. There are 9s that you can use. People like Thomas Muller, they've been scoring goals.
Just the way Ancelotti did on this old man that won them the Champions League.
Yeah, Joselu.
So you can just get them as a backup.
Exactly. You can get them as a good fit for that position, and just be substituting them with whatever you have as an imagination. Because I see those things as imagination when you're bringing people like Kai Havertz and Merino, alias Desandro Trossard or Gabriel Martinelli, or Saka there occasionally. It's just, you're just doing a test run for something that is not going to be visible in the future. But congratulations to them for clinching the Champions League position. All
right, let's see how it goes. And of course, the race for top 5 is still very, very wide and open. Let's take a look at other results. Chelsea defeated Manchester United 1-0. Aston Villa defeated Tottenham 2-0. Everton defeated Southampton 2-0. West Ham lost to Nottingham Forest 1-2. Brentford lost to Fulham 2-3. Leicester City 2-0. Against Ipswich. And of course, congratulations to Vardy. Once again, just mentioned Vardy. He scored his 200 goal.
200 goals.
200 goal on his 500 appearance for Leicester City. Still in England. And of course, there is just one point separating these people. Newcastle, mentioned them, and Tottenham. Newcastle, did I just say Tottenham? Newcastle, Chelsea, Aston Villa, Man City, Nottingham Forest. Just 1 point separating them. And of course, let's see how it goes on March day 38. It's going to be a loud one. All right, still in England, let's talk about FA Cup. Did you see it coming? Crystal Palace defeated almighty Manchester City.
To be honest, I knew it was going to be a tough game, and I knew it was going to be a game of singular deciders, either 2-1 or 1-0 or 1-1, and then in extra time. I knew it was going to be that kind of intense game, but I am so elated for Crystal Palace. Well deserved. Well, to be honest, very well deserved. They've been struggling the whole season.
Yes, of course.
At least they focused on something and they got to their end.
And of course, we should also give credit to the head coach, Oliver Glasner. He did really well, despite the fact that he lost the likes of Michael Olise to Bayern Munich. And of course, I mean, what is his name? This young man from Nigeria.
Eberechi Eze. Eberechi.
The hero.
From England. What do you mean?
Come on, Eberechi Eze. Come on. We all know he's from Nigeria. You can't deny. You can't change his name.
Let him be from wherever you desire to be. He was born in England and he has been playing for the England national team. So let's just leave it the way it is. We can desire him to play for Nigeria. Don't
forget that Ademola Adepoju was played for the under.
But Eberechi has played for the.
Oh, can you change his name? Eberechi.
We can do whatever we want with names.
Okay.
But he's playing for England.
All right.
when you ask him what do you say the 3 Lions. So let's leave it at that.
All right, let's see how it goes. Congratulations to Crystal Palace once again for clinching the FA Cup. And funny enough, all the clubs in England went to the underdogs. Newcastle defeated Liverpool. Now Crystal Palace.
Do you mean in England alone? What of Bologna?
Oh, come on,
come on. It's been a season of revelation for all of us. And I love, this is why we love football. This is why we love Harry Kane getting his first trophy.
After 31 years, that's crazy. Come on, don't even talk about it.
After 31 years. He hasn't been playing ball since
I don't care, that's after 31 years. All right,
the company got his first trophy too, as a coach, so it's a beautiful season.
All right, let's move straight to Italy, and of course for me in Italy, Scudetto have been the toughest league so far this season. Napoli, we have to wait 1 more week to see the Serie A title after being held to a goalless draw at Parma. All right, we're talking about Italian Serie A, and of course Napoli, and of course I feel Inter Milan should have at least, they played at home at San Siro. I was expecting them to win that one against Lazio, but unfortunately Lazio did Napoli a favor.
Like you said, it's been a tough league for them. I'm very, those are the kind of leagues that I love, that it's until the very last day that you get to see how the trophy goes to who at the end of the day, because it can change at any minute. So just like the way it happened for Manchester City in 2012 with QPR and Manchester United. So, but overall, we're very excited. I'm very excited for Napoli. They changed coach, they changed players, brought in new players. It was basically like a team overhaul. What Chelsea did, they did it on a very minimal scale with the small income that they have, because they didn't really spend so much of money. They brought in a few midfielders from England, and hey, they are doing. McTominay has been a revelation for that.
Yes, of course.
That league. Let's not.
Did he get stone?
Well. Let's take it easy on
okay.
The unused stone. It's different from rejected. But Lukaku has been a team player. That's what I would call him. He hasn't been extremely exceptional, but he's been a very good team player for that whole league, because some of the goals that McTominay has had, it was his assist that got him. So we have to. They've done a good job as a team. All right, let's take a look at other results in Italy, and almighty Juventus did well over the weekend. 2 goals to nothing against Udinese. Roma has been in fine form ever since Ranieri took over their team. 3-1 against AC Milan. Inter Milan 2, Lazio 2, Fiorentina 3, Bologna 2. Parma 0, Napoli 0. A lot of bookies, I don't want to talk about Napoli, but it's all good. Lecce 1, Torino 0, Genoa 2, Atalanta 3. All right, away from Italy, let's move straight to Spain. Villarreal qualified for next season Champions League with an entertaining 3-2 win at newly crowned La Liga champions Barcelona on Sunday. And of course, Oluwan Mbappe struck as Real Madrid 1-2-0 at the 9-man Sevilla. All right, let's talk about, Barcelona they've been the champions already. I was expecting them to at least protect the name, but unfortunately they lost at home, to Villarreal 2 goals to 3. And of course, Mbappe, it's like Mbappe will be winning the Pichichi this time around. His first season, and of course, he has scored 29 goals already. His first season. Kudos to you. Despite the form of Real Madrid. Yes. Initially, you remember he started very, very poorly. Yes, of course. Very, very poorly. So Of course, because they changed the position, he usually comes from the wings, so they put him as an upfront man.
It took him time.
It took him some time, but you have to give kudos to Carlo Ancelotti and the Real Madrid team as a whole. They put a lot of
the same Ancelotti that people are criticizing. You're giving kudos to.
That's the game of football. Today you're up, tomorrow you're down.
Yes.
The same Claudio Ranieri that is doing fantastic for Roma was once crucified at Leicester City. So please, it is the game of football. Same Moise Kean that was in Premier League has been a complete revelation. Same David De Gea that was the rejected stone.
Another rejected stone as
that one I would say he was rejected. The rejected stone of Manchester United now has become an unbelievable. He's one of the highest clean sheets in Serie A this season. So, if not the second.
Is there chipping in goals.
Well, he's one of the donator of goals for this season in Premier League. A lot of strikers will be happy to see him every time they are playing against him. But for the Spanish La Liga, you have to give kudos to the Real Madrid team. It was a tough season for them. I think to me, they are one of the clubs that had a tougher season than a lot of clubs, because they had a lot of talent in that team, managing that amount of talent and also managing the injuries that comes with the talent. You know, there is a transition period. It showed that they missed Toni Kroos this season. It showed. There has not been a good replacement for Toni Kroos in that team. Some players you cannot just replace in a team. Right, Luka Modric felt it that he missed his brother in that midfield. You know, so I wish them well in this new season. I know that they will perform better. The likes of Hendrick and
you can see what they are doing already. They just signed this young man from Bournemouth. It's as simple as that. That is Real Madrid for you.
Yes,
they don't care.
They don't care. They solve their
waste time.
Yes, they solve their problems immediately. I was actually very jumpy when they signed Alaba and Rudiger, because I'm like, those are 28. They're very close to 30. That's not usually Real Madrid style. They sign a 20, 22-year-old, 23-year-old. But I was like, if they want effectiveness, they want experience, they are getting it. Right. So. All
right, let's take a look at other results. Sevilla 0, Real Madrid 2, Barca 2, Villarreal. There is no way we talk about Barca, we talk about Lamine Yamal, another fantastic goal from the 17-year-old man. I keep asking myself, is Lamine Yamal 17? Where were you at 17? Are you man? What were you doing at 17?
I was still in secondary school.
Okay, all right. Atletico de Madrid 4, Real Betis 1, Valencia 0, Athletic Bilbao 1. All right, let's move straight to other sports where we talk about tennis. I'm a lover of tennis. Rafael Nadal has been my greatest of all time, but it's looking like he has passed the baton to Carlos Alcaraz. Of course, we can't compare Carlos Alcaraz to the likes of, Djokovic and co. But in his own generation, he's been my favorite. Carlos Alcaraz victory. Carlos Alcaraz won the Italian Open men's singles title, defeating world #1, talking about Jannik Sinner. And this marks his first Italian Open title and solidifies his position as a favorite for the French Open. French Open will be around May 25. And of course, talking about Carlos Alcaraz, world #3 just defeated world #1. I love this. I love this kind of sport.
Yes.
So it's an individual game.
Yes.
It is what you give on the pitch that will definitely come out.
Yes,
all right.
yes.
And my own question is this. Gone are the days whereby maybe Italian Open, French Open, Wimbledon, we always see the likes of Djokovic, Rafael Nadal, Roger Federer, and co. Andy Murray. But these days, it's just like Alcaraz will give us 3 months. Jannik Sinner will come up 6 months. Medvedev will come 6 months. What's really happening? What is going on with this new generation? Should I call them Gen Z's lawn tennis players?
I would say Gen Z. First of all, the game has changed. Okay. The game has changed. Technology has improved on some of those games. Like the courts, everything is being looked into. The way technology and the structure of the game has changed. Now we can talk about the mentality of the players. Back then, their mentality was, this is do or it is only me. But these guys are like, I just want to just know how it feels like.
Maybe that is why Novak Djokovic has refused to even retire.
Exactly. Because he has played with the likes of the people who even when they are losing at the very moment, we've seen this happen so many times. The likes of Rafael Nadal, the likes of Roger Federer, the likes of Serena Williams and Venus. Yeah, Venus. When they are losing, they will still give their all till the end of till they know that this one is done, right? They will fight, they will scream, they will, and that's the passion that they gave us that made us love tennis. Now the tennis is much more, to me, it's much more entertainment. Oh, I want to go watch tennis, see these young kids play, but not to underplay Carlos Alcaraz at all in his game. His game style is fantastic, but the mentality those guys had, the mentality was different. They will fight for every inch of that tennis ball. They will not make, you will see them play
semi-finals for over 2 hours.
They will even, the ball is on the line, they will toss their tennis rackets to be able to hit it. So, so that's the passion they had for the game. But now it's a little bit more different, but we can't compare the likes. Kudos to Carlos Alcaraz, and congratulations to every other person who is coming after him. We're looking forward to that generation, like the way in soccer in football we have Lamine Yamal, who has come now and giving us hope for a new rivalry that might be coming, and the way strikers are popping up everywhere. Before that conversation will be limited now, so we're hoping for that. I feel like that season is coming very soon, but we should give it some time.
All right, and of course in the women's category, Jasmine Paolini made history by winning the Italian Open Women's Singles title, defeating Coco Gauff 6-4, 6-2. She became the first Italian woman to win the tournament in 40 years.
In 40 years.
That's crazy. 40 years? Where was I? 40 years. Anyways, congratulations to Paolini. And one thing about women tennis is this. Today you will see girls who are taken at number 1.
Yes.
Tomorrow it will be
somebody else. Yes.
Next tomorrow it will be another.
Yes.
I love that.
I love
not
it.
just Ronaldo, Messi.
Yeah.
Dominated for almost 2 decades.
Or like Serena Williams, who dominated
for decades.
For decades. But Maria Sharapova was in that conversation as well. So yeah.
All right, our time is fast spent. We just have to leave the studio. That is how much we can take on Sport on Enterprise TV. Endeavor to subscribe to the notification bell to get notified of all alerts. Follow us across all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV 7. Like, share, and engage on all content. Visit our website at www.enterprisetvnews.com for all the news you can use, the inclusives, and the live updates. Iron Man has been great on the show this wonderful.
Thank you for having me. Thank you to Enterprise TV as well.
All right, my name remains John Olaskomi. See you next time.